Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 212A, the Tier 9 Soviet SPG. This one's located on the north spawn of Ruinberg, and it's under the command of Oxagon of ENJ0Y, and he's in platoon with Soul Collector of ENJ0Y in the Leopard Prototype A. Let's see how they get on in this platoon. Game on. Okay, it's the 203mm howitzer, the B4 howitzer. It's capable of doing 900 alpha and will penetrate through 52mm of armor with a damage radius of 10.4 meters. The standard reload 37.39 seconds, and we can see straight off the mark that actually Oxagon's got a reload time 29.35. Now you can also see Soul Collector staying near to the cap area, but he's spotting, and I think, oh, that was a double tap. I think Soul Collector just got a shot on the Object 140, and then just after that, we saw an impact, a direct hit from Oxagon that went right into him. So I think, yes, that was a double tap, and, well, I'm not sure if he got the spotting or he actually got some damage assist, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, we're loaded again with another round. We're looking at a Tornbahn. Rounds out. Just a bit late on the shell, but it did splash the Tornbahn. Notice the enemy is trying to push on that corner, trying to get across the gap. We've got an Object 430U just across the road, and we've got a number of tanks right over in the village who are spotting and firing rounds in on anything that tries to cross. Okay, we're loaded, ready to go. Soul Collector still guarding Oxagon. Make sure he's okay, safe. He doesn't need to be in the center of town at the moment. The thing about the Leopard prototype is it's very thinly armored. So you want to act as a sniper, not as a brawler. So ideally you want to stay in a sniping position, and that's basically what he's doing in this game so far. But he's now moving towards the center line. A lot of our tanks are actually near the center line in the village, and there's a possibility the reason they're doing that is because they are anticipating a lot of damage. Tanks might be crossing the gap. We can see a couple have already done that. And that's exactly where where Oxagon is aiming right now. There's the 430U. He's got adequate protection in there because he's got walls on one side of him, in fact on both sides of him, protecting him from fire. And it appears that the enemy Arty are not in a position where they can actually do damage. But we're looking over this side of the map at the moment, because we've got an ELC moving forward rather rapidly, and he's probably going to spot whoever's in this corner, and there's bound to be somebody over here. Well, he's reached the corner, and nobody has turned up. So we're going after the Jaegeru. See if we can put a round on him. Rounds out. Direct hit. Oh, it's a good one as well. 394. There wasn't anybody in the bottom, the southeast corner of the map, which is surprising. Normally, enemies will at least cover that corner to make sure that the ELC can't do what he's doing right now, which is effectively boxing everybody on the enemy team in, and effectively making that they're stuck in that southwest corner. Now we're looking at the Jaegeru moving forward rapidly. He does get a hit for 200, and he's taking fire on the side, which means that, yes, Oxagon picked up a huge amount of stun assist there. 804. Now it's 1,037. So a good amount of stun there. Really did the job in terms of giving us some assist. You can see Soul Collector's moved to the corner. The enemy did have a tank on that corner. I think it was a Wizzy 132, but he's gone. And now we're aiming towards the enemy tanks that are on that peripheral road. Enemy RT in this game is an M53, M55. We don't know precisely where he is, but we think that he's in the southwest corner of the map. There's a Ferdinand in there and an E75 TS. Rounds into that corner. Oh, it's a direct hit on the E75. At least that's who we think it is. He was seen in that corner. He's not being seen right now, but somebody just got hit. Oxagon got a blind hit in there. Probably using the minimap as his guide. Okay, we've got TNHT Viz 51 on the corner, but there is a Tornvarn, the same one we've hit before, just across the way, and he is in sight. So he could get around in there, but he's choosing not to for the moment. Still aiming on that peripheral road, the corner. Ah, CS59 rounds out. And it splashes him for 136. 2 critical hits, probably the tracks. Now, you can see Soul Collector's gone very, very deep, and of course he's brawling now, and he's suffered a loss of hit points. A massive loss of hit points. He's pulling back, but the 705 is going to get him. Probably with one shot, yes. Unfortunately, that was predictable, because of course the Leopard doesn't have hit points to brawl, doesn't have armor to brawl, and so it tends to go down fairly quickly unless you act as a sniper. So yeah, Soul Collector's out the game, and the scores are even at the moment. Can't help but think that maybe Soul Collector would have been better off, instead of going to that position, to actually go to the avenue that leads down to the southeast corner of the map, where all the others are located, because then he could snipe to his heart's content. Rounds out the 705. Oh, hits the building. Yes, he just checked to see where that building was. And there's the E75. And yes, he is missing hit points, so he must be the one that was actually hit by that round, the blind shot. And our M3Y made a huge error there. He got Jaeger'd. And so he's back out the game. Now we're one down. We've still got guys shooting from that corner, but there's fewer of them now, because the enemy's guys are punching out from that corner. There's that Tornvarn I mentioned earlier. You see, you can loop shells over, well, next to the wall, over the rubble, into the Tornvarn. It looks like our Striv K is trying to get shots on this guy. Let's see, rounds out. He's still there. Still gets splashed. 286, that's good. We've lost another tank. This time it was the Indian Panzer that went down. The guys at the southeast corner of the map are thinning out. So, yes, we've had some replacements go down the road in the form of the Object 430U, but he's low on hit points, and he could be taken out with one shot as well. So, things are not going so well. And I think we just saw the enemy RT Tracer going for the Tornvarn again. And another splash, 267. The next one will kill the Tornvarn. Oxagon is got 1.5 of actual damage, 1.5 of stun assist. The Jaeger is finally out the game. Okay, going for the 705. It's going to be a difficult shot, because all the walls are against the 705 there, or in the 705's favor. You can see the shells are actually being fired in. Some of them are actually hitting Soul Collector's wreck. So he's decided to switch targets and try and hit the Panzer 58 Mutz. We're not getting much luck though. Rounds out. That's better. 407 hit points. It might be a good idea for Oxagon to change positions. We're now down by 4 tanks, and most of the losses have actually been from the southeast corner of the map. And the enemy appears to have found a way to break out. When you're down by 4, things are getting a bit tight. Rounds out in that corner. Oh, he hit the wreck of the M3Y, the Yo tank. Switching his aim to that 705. Might be better to change position to get better angles on that 705 or the AMX 5120. I know it might be tempting to say that to actually travel south, not directly from where he is, but to actually travel over to the village and then after the village to go to the southeast corner and shoot at the enemy as they're trying to break out of that area, because you'd actually be shooting into their rear. Oh no, maybe he has been listening to me. I know it's not actually happening, but he has decided to change position now. And again, that might be self-preservation, because if the enemy is going to be coming this way, he needs to have some cover, and he doesn't have any cover from his current position. He's going to the northeast corner to start with, and then he might just go round the corner, and that will give him the ability to shoot at the enemy tanks as they come up towards our gap. We do have the protection of the Batchat 25 ton and the Kunstpanzer. Ah, no, didn't go around the corner fully. Now that might make the houses work against him at the moment. He's trying to get shots on the CS-59 and the other tanks that might have gone down to the southeast corner. Okay, there's an Obsidian down there. It's a new tank. Rounds out in the Obsidian. No, overshoots. We're way down on kills now because we're 5. There's a 5 difference. And normally when you get to this stage with a 5 difference, the game is almost over. We've only got 6 tanks left in the game. Now he can kill this 705 if he can get it on target. And he does. Oh my god, he got both! He took out the Panzer 58 Mutz as well at the same time. That's a bombardier. 2 kills, 1 shot. Well, that's turned it around a little, because now we're only 4 tanks, not 4 tanks, 5 tanks down. But there's only 3 left on our team. The 257, the Batchat 25 ton, and of course, Oxagon in the Arty. And it's not looking too hopeful. That CS-59's been spotted in the field. Now, we could definitely take him out with a splash kill. Now, will Oxagon do that? He can do it now. Is he still there? Yes, he is, and he's now out and back in the garage. Okay, so he's out of the game. That's 3 kills now to Oxagon. And he's changing position again. I would have gone a little earlier to move and change position. Now, those buildings are going to be in the way when you're trying to shoot to the south, whereas it's a good idea to go around the corner. You might actually be able to get shots on the enemy as they're approaching from just slightly around the corner. But no, he's going to stick with what he's got for the moment. We can't see the enemy coming around the corner. There's only 2 of us left now, the Batchat and the 212A. But the good news is that the 212A does have reasonably good view range, because of course he is a medium tank. Much better than our view range. So he might be able to spot for us and pick up the assist every time he does. 2-minute warning. No, I very much doubt that they're going to survive the entire 2 minutes, because the Batchat doesn't have much in the way of hit points as it is. And the enemy seems to be taking their time about moving to the cap area. I guess they're just being cautious at the moment. Well, now they're in the gap. Only 1 so far. I would have expected more than 1 just to turn up in the cap almost simultaneously. Okay, he's marking. Oh, there's the TNH, and he is coming in very quickly. Now, he's a splash kill. Now, if we can land the shell near him, he will expire. Oh, but he's decided instead to go for the Obsidian because he had more hit points. I'm not sure if that was a correct decision, but, well, the Batchat probably would have liked the TNH out so he could still spot and get shots. He has got shots on the Obsidian, done a reset. And now the TNH is coming forward, and he's out. Now, Arty inbound. It missed, but we did take some damage. And the Ferdinand was the one who finished us off, so he must have been nearer the center line. But the Batchat is still alive, albeit that he only has 208 hit points remaining. And 11 seconds left on the clock, but the Obsidian is getting closer and closer. And it'll only take one hit, yep, and that's the end of the game. Here's the end of battle results. That was an ace tanker game for Oxagon in the 212A. Very well done on that. Even though it was a loss, he still put in the effort. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He ended up with 4 exactly. He got a bombardier because he took 2 of the enemy tanks out with 1 shot, the 705 and the Panzer 58 Mutz. And he also managed to get a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 10. And a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle, with a win rate of 4,831, which is Super Unicum standard and a bit more. Let's have a look at team score. Well, despite the fact that he was pumping those shells in, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That went to the Object 140 on the enemy team, and surprisingly, that was one of the first tanks that actually got a hit in the game as well. He got 4,469 hit points of damage. Second highest damage in the game turned out to be the Object 257 on our team. He was one of the ones who went into the town centre. He got 3,835 hit points. And in third place, we have Oxagon. Yes, 3,746 hit points of damage to him. When it came to kills, it was the Oxagon who got the highest number. 4 kills to him. Of course, 2 of those at the same time. 3 kills went to the Object 257 on his team. And also to the Object 140, the Obsidian, and they were the only other ones that managed to get 3 kills. And there was the Strip K got 2 kills, so the Leopard 1 on the enemy team and the TNHT Viz 51. When it came to base XP, it was actually the enemy team came out on top. The Tornvar managed 1,020, and he was the only one who managed to get over 1,000 base, with their TNHT Viz 51 getting 997, so very close to 1,000. And of course, in third place, we have the Object 140 with 983, the guy who got the highest damage in the game. We can see that Oxagon got 678 on base XP, which is a good result considering the amount of hit points he did manage to get. But you can actually see that there was plenty of enemy tanks that managed to get higher than him on the enemy team. In fact, just looking at it now, it's 8 on the enemy team managed to get more than him, and 1 on his own team, which means he's in 10th place when it comes to damage, to XP rather. Let's have a look at detail. Well, he fired 19 rounds in that game, so plenty of ammunition downrange. That's why he's got so higher damage. 8 direct hits on the enemy, none of them penetrated, but he did get 21 splash and 3,746 hit points of damage, of which 3,632 were at more than 300 meters. That TNH was a much closer shot. 1 hit received, it was a penetrating shot, yes, and 1 hit by way of splash damage. Well, he did get noticed after he hit the TNH, and the thing is that if he'd actually hit the TNH when he was stationary, he might have been able to pull back from that position, go into the bushes across the road, and they might have then fired at the wrong spot when they came to respond to him. But that's just my opinion. 8 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, and he got 1,428 hit points of stun assist, or 17 stuns. On a premium account, he actually made a loss on this one, 17,942 credits, and he also took away 1,594 experience points. He did get the Courageous Resistance Award on both, on the credits and on the XP, because of course he managed to get a Battle Hero or an Epic Medal. In this case, well, he got the Epic Medal, the Gauze Medal on this one, and so at least that compensates him for the fact that he put the effort in. Unfortunately, his team weren't able to save him. In this one, which is unusual really for a battle like this, because normally he's much higher up the table, we can see that Soul Collector actually came 5th on the team on damage, but he was a little way down on overall, because there were at least, let's have a look, 6 enemy tanks that made more damage than he did, and 5 on his own. Was it 5? 4 on his own. So yes, he was actually in 11th place on damage, but it was still a nice score nonetheless. So that's the end of the first battle. Yes, this is a two-parter video. Let's have a look at the second replay by Oxagon. The second replay is on the southwest spawn of Karelia. And let's see how Oxagon gets on in this one. Well, as before, he's with Soul Collector. And he's still in Leopard Prototype A. Now, hopefully, he's actually going to be headed off towards the horseshoe. And he's decided to do it through the swamp instead of actually going via the conventional route down the southwest corner of the map. It is a little more dangerous going through the swamp, because you might get spotted by the enemy, but then on the other side of the coin, it's a quicker route to actually get there, and he's already spotted somebody. In fact, it looks like a Basante actually got hit on the other side of the battlefield. Meanwhile, the enemy has got a 430U coming up, and he takes some damage, but only a little bit. And that Barask is now going to be facing our guys who managed to get up there first. We've got a Barask, a Leopard Prototype that's not Soul Collector, and an EBR-105. So that should stop the enemy. Now, we're not quite loaded on the second shell yet, but we should be momentarily. And that 277 is probably going to find himself in a very sticky situation. Now, he did go onto that rock, but we lost sight of him after that. In fact, it looks like Soul Collector is actually spotting in the swamp. Rounds out the object 430. Splashes him. And the good news about that is that should help the Leopard Prototype that's up there already to get some shots on that guy, push him back, get some stun assist. And he has got some stun assist already on the 430. There's the 277. Oh, and unfortunately, Soul Collector just took 2 hits. And one of those, I think, came from an EBR-105 on the enemy team. Now we're going for the 277. Direct hit, right on the money for 390. And he got some stun assist off that one as well. But we've lost Soul Collector, and it was fairly quick, actually. I'm not sure if he actually fired or he got spotted, but somebody, I think it was EBR, was directly above him. So I think that was the guy who actually spotted him in the end and managed to get some shells in. So maybe he wasn't 100% covered. Over here we've got 2 tanks together, GeForce and a Panther 2. Oh, he got both of them on that. 421 on the GeForce and 24 on the Panther 2. So much more off the tier 8. Now this is a tier 10 game with tier 8 tanks in it. He's selected the T30 for his next shot. The 2128 is a tier 9, so hitting him. Oh, he's just centering his arc. Rounds out. Another nice hit, 410, and he got the stun assist immediately afterwards. So it's working out quite well so far for Oxagon. Okay, the 430 is vulnerable. He's a splash kill. We did lose a few tanks. You can see some of the wrecks up on the corner of the horseshoe, and there's that enemy Barask. Now he's a one-shot. Rounds out. Should be a kill. It is. I think that was also a direct hit because there was no explosion, so I think he did nail him. And that was well, there's the enemy EBR. That's the guy who spotted Soul Collector, I think, and if we can put a round on him, that would certainly help. But I get the feeling he's moved away from that spot now because he looked as if he was turning. And I think he's got good reason to pull away from that position. Meanwhile, an A phase 1 up in that corner. Now we're looking in this corner because the Panther was over here. The Panther 2. Then we've got a Conway. He's quickly dialing in. Should be able to get this shot off any second. Rounds out. Oh, that's a penetrating shot, or surely was. No, not showing actually. But he did take a lot of stun assist, and he got the rest of it. I thought for a second that was a penetrating shot from the sheer amount of damage done very quickly. But I think it was actually that Oxagon's shell landed at exactly the same moment as somebody else's shot, and that's why he got some extra. We'll have to find out at the end of the game. Was that a penetrating round? I don't think it was. But a lot of enemy tanks are suddenly being spotted, and most of them are one-shots, which means that Oxagon can get these clearances. Now the 277's trying to side scrape on that rock, and I think he's now receiving shots from up on top of the horseshoe, and that slowed him down a little, so I think we might get some stun. Yep, stun assist there. Now you may have watched a video showing Klaus Kellerman doing Arty for the 3rd time in a row on his show, and he was actually saying, or asking the question, should Wargaming adjust the stun assist to decrease the amount of stun assist to make it more balanced on actual damage? And of course that would actually encourage people not to help their tank teammates. You want to have lots of stun assist because that then does encourage Arty to help teammates to win the game. If you do it the other way around, then you make the Arty the ones who go after just the single tank on its own, instead of actually going after to try and damage tanks that their teammates can then help them destroy. I think Wargaming did know this when they actually did the last buff, or the last nerf, I should say. They actually increased the accuracy, but they essentially emphasized the assistance aspect of Arty gameplay. So the more assist you did, the more you were likely to get an ace tanker. And it disincentivized you from going after individual tanks on your own. Made it more important to stun than to do damage assist than to get direct hits. Rounds out on the CS59. Oh, that's a direct hit. 265 from that one. That was a good one. He's not in sight of our guys, but we do have a Leopard 1 nearby, and there is a Samur, but I think the Samur at this moment is holding back that 274A on the enemy team, that and the Scorpion. I think the enemy is now in a bit of a quandary because they really do need to defend their cap area. They do have a Jaegeru up there, but it appears to be an inexperienced Jaegeru as far as we can make out. He does have a single kill, but he hasn't really been involved in any of the fighting as much from now on. And now he's been spotted, and there's the G-Saw, and he's trying to retreat. There's the Jaegeru, and he's really not damaged at all at the moment. Not received any damage, but he's about to. And that's a direct hit right on his engine deck. 362, the engine at the front on the Jaegeru. Much like the Ferdinand, it was supposed that if they were going to move the engine about on an E100, that they were going to put it forward and have the gun shooting over the top of the deck, rather than have the gun at the front with a thick load of armor, like on an Object 704. And that's another direct hit on the Jaegeru. Blind hit. But he knows that Jaegeru's got to be sitting there to try and get those shots. And if he pulls away from the rock, he's going to be visible. Okay, we've got it perfectly lined up. He's trying to side scrape on that corner. Rounds out. Long flight time. And another direct hit. Now, the good thing about the Jaegeru taking damage is that they do have vulnerable lower plates. And our guys are climbing the hill towards him, so they've got access to that lower plate. And if he does get tracked, it makes it easier for our guys to plant the shells into his lower plate. He did take another hit from one of our guys. The CS59's a one-shot. Trying to work out where he's going to go. It was the CS52 list that was getting the penetration shots on the Jaegeru, apparently, so he was probably using the premium rounds. But we're lined up. Rounds out. Looks good. Lands alongside him, but now we're being targeted by enemy Arty. And he did do the right thing to move forward, but unfortunately drove into the shell. Nothing he could do about that. He couldn't avoid that shot. The enemy Arty must have been looking in the regular places, knowing exactly where the shells were coming from his teammates. Okay. Well, we're only one up on the enemy at the moment. The EBR 105 and the Jaegeru in the cap area. The tier 8, the 274A, is supposedly up on the northwest corner of the map, but I don't think he is up there. Now, the Scorpion will probably move into a nice little sniping position. There's the GW. Now, we really can't get a shot at this angle because of that rock, but he might be able to get some hit points off the guy. If he backs up like this, he's going to take a hit. Rounds out. Yes, he does. He's down to 5 hit points now. Makes him an easy kill. The 274A has actually gone over the other side of the map, would you believe it? And he's trying to get shots on our Hori too. The other worry is that he might decide to go south instead of actually going towards that corner. And he might be on his way already over to this cap. I would say it might be a good idea to head north straight away for Oxagon. If he goes straight up the west side of the map, he might be able to get away from the cap area. You know, I do think the 274A is going straight down the east side of the map. And he might turn up at our cap very shortly. Okay, there's the Jaegeru. Maximum range. Unfortunately, we'll just have to shoot and scoot, I think, after we've done this. Rounds out. Oh, long flight time. Lands short. Now, where is that 274A? I have a feeling he's just almost at our doorstep. I hope he's not, because if he is, then Oxagon's about to get a nasty surprise. There's the Jaeger again. Okay, lined up. Rounds out. Long flight time. 4.8 seconds flight time. But he gets a direct hit. But where is that 274A? Where has he gone? Well, he's decided to come back, but he did head south. He must have turned around after his teammates told him to come back. I think he was halfway to killing us. And now there's only 2 left on the enemy team. Going for the 274A. Fires the round in. Think he's going to back up. And he gets a piece of him. Of course, the stun that helps here. 3.5k of actual damage. 2,300 of stun assist. We've got 2 in the cap. And they're holding on. These last 2 minutes. Rounds out. Lands short. And he's gone down. But where is the EPR? Well, it looks like he went down the center of the map to try and escape. And then he's come back. Because I can only think that they were both trying to get the Arty because they knew that Oxagon was firing so many rounds in. And they were taking damage. So they decided to get rid of the enemy Arty. But it hasn't worked in their favor. And whilst we still have somebody capping, we've now got the situation where their EBR is completely outnumbered and our guys will be able to snipe at him when he tries to get away. Well, he does get the kill on the Scorpion with his 105mm, but he's kind of having to stick around the cap area. And if he goes down into the dip, then we know he's going to try and get shots on that Hori too at the top end. Last few seconds of the game. And there's the kill that ends the game. And it goes to the Samur. Here's the end of battle stats. And that was another ace tanker game from Oxagon of ENJ0Y in the 212A. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one. He managed to get 13 He got a Gauss medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle, and he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, and he certainly did in this one. 4,164 was the win 8, which is Super Unicum and a bit more. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he did get the highest damage in the game, but he didn't get 20% of the enemy hit pool, so sadly, he didn't end up with a high caliber, but he certainly put the effort in, and that was shown in the fact that he managed to get the Confederates at the end of that game. Second highest damage turned out to be jointly held by the Fox on our team, the CS52 Liz, who also managed to get a Leather Slaves medal and a patrol duty, and on the enemy team by their Jaeger, who I actually maligned because I thought he wasn't doing much work, but he actually was. He was doing work, and he was defending the cap area more than anything else. He got 3,055 as well, exactly the same figure as the CS52 list. And when it came to kills, we can see the high scorers were the Liss and the EBR 105 on the enemy team. Both got 4 kills each. Our Samur managed to get 3 kills, and then several tanks, 3 tanks actually managed to get 2 kills, which included our Jaegeru, our Scorpion, and the CS59 on the enemy team. We can see that Oxagon only got the 1 kill out of that game. When it came to base XP, he's in second place because the Liss managed to get 1,453 XP, and we can see that Oxagon got the second highest with 1,295, and in third place, the Smur SM got 1,052. So 3 players managed to break 1,000 hit points of XP, and 1 player in particular, the CS52 list player, did incredibly well in that game. You can see he was all over the place. Obviously, he was working hard to get a patrol duty and a Leather Slaves medal in a medium tank, but the CS52 this is a really good medium. When it came to details, 22 shots fired, a lot of ammunition expended, but it actually worked because he did get the highest damage in the game, just not the high caliber. 10 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetrating shot. Now, which one was that penetrating shot? Was it the Barask? Yes, he only got 33 hit points off him, but it was a kill on the Barask that actually did penetrate on him. So that was the one that went through. 20 splash, damage of 4,059, all of it at more than 300 meters. Did receive 1 hit by way of splash damage from the enemy Arty, and 12 enemy vehicles were damaged. 1 was killed, 2,651 hit points of splash damage, stun assist rather, of 20 stuns. On a premium count, this time round, he did earn a profit, 48,975 credits profit. So that makes up for the last time. Plus, of course, he got a mission completion bonus. And he also took away 3,885 experience points as well. So 2 great battles. Both of them are ace tanker. One of them in a defeat, of all things, with a bombardier. And the second one in a win, but also with a Gauss and a Confederate. So very well played by Oxagon. He keeps pumping those shells in. He's obviously working out where his next target's going to be long in advance of the shell being ready, because he knows he needs to have that shell out as quickly as he can and for it to be accurate, for him to keep hitting as many enemy. And I'd highly recommend that as a tactic. If you're playing in Arty in a game, the idea is to keep pumping the shells around different targets, spreading the Arty love onto the enemy as much as you can, because the more enemy tanks you hit, the more likely you're going to get the Confederate. And even if your team loses the game, you're not going to lose it, because you're still going to come out on head on credits and also on XP. Plus, of course, then your teammates can actually see that you were working really hard to try and hit as many enemy tanks as you could. So yes, spread that Arty love from above, and they'll get the message that, yeah, you're a top Arty player because you know what to do. Try and help everyone you can. Try and hit as many if you can, and help your teammates to get the victory. So I hope you enjoyed both those replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.